Over the last several months, I've had a lot of questions about my belt, how I have it set up, and what accessories I use. So I decided to make a video about it. All right, so I've got a lot of belts here laid out for you. Over the years, I've used pretty much every single style of belt available. I started out with your standard cheap 2-inch nylon belt for kind of patrol purposes, ditched that, picked up one of these large padded triple molly belts by High Speed Gear. These secure just by friction around your waist, but this was just a little bit too bulky for me. Downsized to the same thing, but the double molly version. Again, this was still just too bulky. And I ended up ultimately landing on my current Warbelt setup, which is a 1 3/4 inch double molly 2-piece belt. This is by Blue Alpha Gear. But guys, there's really two things I'm looking for when I'm picking up my belt and when I'm setting up my belt. Number one, I want it to be slim and lightweight, just so it doesn't feel like there's an inner tube around my waist, but I also want it to be secure. And when I say secure, I'm not just talking about comfort, but I want to know that it doesn't slide up and down my waist or shift from side to side. And the reason that is important is because you need consistent gear placement. The reason you want consistent gear placement on your body is so you can have a consistent draw as well as consistent reloads. So for that reason, I want to know my belt has not shifted 1 inch from one side to the other. Now, the Blue Alpha Gear belt can be picked up on their website from anywhere between $130 and I believe $160, just depending on what options you get with it. And it comes in pretty much any color available on the market, along with most camo patterns. It has your standard metallic Cobra buckle. And like I said before, this is a 2-piece belt. What that means is it comes standard with a Velcro inner belt, and you secure the two by marrying them up together just by Velcro. That means there's no keepers. And if you're anything like me, you absolutely can't stand keepers. And believe it or not, these 2-piece belts actually secure much better than your standard belt that secures by a keeper. I've used this on SWAT operations, 10-hour days on patrol, and countless hours on the range. All right, I was getting bored talking, so I know you guys were getting bored listening to me. So I decided to get on the range and throw some rounds. But now let's dive into how I actually have my belt set up. All right, the fun is over, and now we're gonna dive into how I have my belt set up. But first, you need to understand one thing. It is never a good idea to blindly mirror the setup of somebody you see on the internet. It doesn't matter whether it's a plate carrier, chest rig, or a belt, unless you have the exact same mission set as them. My belt is set up around my personal needs and my personal preferences, which could be the exact opposite of you. So before you buy anything or set up anything, you should first ask yourself two questions. Number one, do I need this item? And if so, why do I need this item? If you can't answer that question, in all likelihood, you're just wasting space on your belt or wasting money in general buying the item. So up front, I've got a soil eater tourniquet holder with a soft T-wide tourniquet inside, and it's pushed all the way up against my Cobra buckle. A couple of videos back, I posted a collaboration video with Prep Medic where he stressed the importance of having your tourniquet in a place that is accessible by both hands. The reason you want that is because if one hand gets injured, you want your other hand to be able to access that tourniquet and then perform self-aid. And this is the #1 gear fail I see on new guys and even some seasoned guys. They place their tourniquet in an area that is only accessible by one hand. Now, next to that, we have the Safariland ALS holster. This has an internal locking system, so as soon as you drop your firearm in, it is secured into place. It's not going anywhere. I've got my holster attached to a QLS. What a QLS allows is for you to detach your holster from your belt and then switch it over to a different belt that also has a QLS. So I've got a 2-inch double MOLLE belt. This is a duty style with a QLS adapter. I can switch my holster onto this, and if I was to go work patrol, I can use this belt with this holster. Or if I'm going to be doing anything SWAT related or going to the range, quickly take it off, switch my holster over to this belt, place it on, and I'm good to go with this. This is probably my favorite accessory on my belt for as inexpensive as it is. I believe it's like 30 bucks on Safariland's website. So if you don't have that, you should check it out. It's a good pickup. Behind that, I've got my Blue Force Gear Micro Trauma Kit. Now, the same concept applies when you're placing your IFAK on your belt. It needs to be accessible by both hands for the same reasons I mentioned before. I have mine right in the small of my back for this belt. The reason I have it there is because, again, I can grab it by both hands, but I'm not riding in a car all day. If you're a patrol cop, probably not a good idea to place your IFAK right in the center line of your back, because it's going to be digging into your spine all day as you're going through your 10 or 12-hour shift in your car. Unless you like that type of thing, that's not me. I don't like it digging into my spine. Now behind that, I've got a dump pouch. A lot of people use dump pouches all the time. I am not that guy. I almost never use a dump pouch. So for that reason, I was looking for a dump pouch that took up the smallest footprint on my belt. And ultimately I landed on the Blue Force Gear ultralight dump pouch. You can see just how little space that takes up on my belt. I don't even know it's there until I actually need it. And it secures in on itself. So on the off chance that I actually do need it, all I have to do is pull down, take this material out, and now I actually do have a dump pouch. But just be aware, the material is very thin. It doesn't appear to be the most durable. So if you're a guy who goes to the range, throws mags in your pouch, throws water, snacks, things like that every week, this probably won't hold up for you, and I would not recommend it. I would go for something a little bit bigger, a little bit more rugged and durable. Now behind that, we've got my mag pouches for rifle. I always stick with high-speed gear taco pouches, and I have the mag set up in a way that I can come down when I'm conducting a reload. I get the beer can grip. And for pistol, I like S-Tac Kiwi or Kiwi, or however you pronounce it. I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. And for these, my mags are oriented with the toe facing forward towards the Cobra buckle, so I can come down and conduct my reload with an index, which I found to be the most efficient way for me. And that's really it, guys. It's really not that special. But one thing you need to know is this belt is set up for my needs, and mission dictates what gear you should have and how you should have it set up. So what I recommend is set up your belt how you think you're going to need it, and then take it to the range, run it through some trial and error, and then find out where the gaps are, find out where your holes are, what adjustments you need to make, and then go from there. Guys, that is all I've got for you. As always, I appreciate you sticking around this long. I hope today is the day that I earned your subscription. And if I did, hit that subscribe button and also hit the thumbs up. It helps us out a lot. Thank you as always, and I'll see you on the next one.